All right, we want to take you to West Bloomfield, Michigan, where Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer is giving an update on yesterday's attack on a synagogue there. Let's listen in.
Over to Governor Whitmer. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi. I can't tell you how much I appreciate your leadership yesterday, and how much my heart goes out to everything that you and your family and all of the families involved and the Jewish community writ large are going through. You know, I wanted to come today for a briefing, which we just concluded, to get up to speed on where things stand. I want to thank our state and local law enforcement, the first responders, our federal partners for their swift work to keep people safe and to investigate. I want to thank Temple Israel's security personnel. They were selfless in their courage and they saved lives. These heroes threw themselves in harm's way, engaging the suspect, and let's be very clear, yes, this is a place of worship, but at the time that this attack was occurred, it was a school. 104 children, age 5 and younger here. So I want to thank all of Temple Israel's staff who acted quickly to evacuate students and reunite families. The state of Michigan will wrap our arms around this community and support our local and federal partners every step of the way to keep people safe. I want to share prayers from my colleague, Governor Shapiro of Pennsylvania. Josh reached out yesterday to check in and see how people were doing. And I want Michigan's Jewish community to know that we are with you. Violence in our houses of worship and in our schools and in our daycare centers like this hits especially hard. Temple Israel is a pillar of the community. It's one of the largest Reformed Jewish congregations in North America, with Friday night Shabbat services attracting over 1,000 people. People celebrate bar and bat mitzvahs, weddings, and holidays here. Parents bring their children to daycare and school, and it's a place of peace, unity, light, and life. Yesterday's attack was anti-Semitism. It was hate, plain and simple. We will fight this ancient and rampant evil. We will stand together as we do it, and we will call it out. We must lower the rhetoric in this state and in this country, especially at this moment where we've seen such a rise in anti-Semitism and more attacks on the Jewish community. We must keep each other close. This community is on the edge, very understandably. We've seen a rise in attacks, especially over the last decade, especially over the last 10 months. And so it is important for us to stand up, to stand against it, and to thank the people who showed up to support the community, but also call out where we see acts of anti-Semitism, where we see threats, where we see something, how important it is to say something, and to recognize that each of us has a responsibility. People like the person that attacked this community yesterday get fomented by rhetoric that they see online and that they see on television and they hear on the radio. It radicalizes people and it endangers our fellow Michiganders. We cannot let this continue. And so each of us has a duty to take action where and how we can. And with that, I'll hand it over to Senator Slotkin, and then we'll take a couple of questions.
Thank you, Governor. And just want to reiterate, I think it's clear that if it were not for the private security and the staff at Temple Israel, and then the first responders, first on the scene, local law enforcement, if they had not all done their jobs almost perfectly, we would be talking about an immense tragedy here today with children gone. This could have been much, much worse. So I give incredible credit to law enforcement and the people who were in the room, putting themselves and their own families at risk. I think, you know, the governor said it very, very well on the way this community has responded. It's been incredible to watch neighbors in the community here, both organizations and just regular old citizens open up their homes literally yesterday to help care for people who were fleeing from this. And this is a place that I have a very personal connection to. I feel I've spent a lot of my time growing up in and out of this temple, and I feel just an immense amount of pain, as does the rest of the community, that incidents like this even happen. And I think it's just important to be clear, as the governor said, that whether anti-Semitism is coming from the left or the right, whether it's coming from some group that you like or don't like, you have a responsibility to call it out. Because when you don't, it gives permission for people to climb that escalation, that ladder of escalation that goes from saying hateful things online to saying them in person to graffiti to ultimately violence. And the Jewish community suffers 10 times the number of hate crimes than any other community in this country. So it is an epidemic. And until we push back on that permission, we're going to see incidents like this continue to proliferate. The Jewish community spends over $1 billion across the country securing their houses of worship, their schools, their institutions. No community in America should be fearful of having their own kind congregate for things like education and worship. So I stand here proud of the community, but angry that we even are put in this position. Thankful to law enforcement, but asking the average citizen out there, if you have a friend, a colleague, coworkers who are using anti-Semitism in their daily life and feel like it's just normal, please call that out wherever you see it. Thank you.
May I say a few words?
Yes.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Jonathan Morshay. I'm the township supervisor here in West Bloomfield. For those of you unfamiliar with township government in Michigan, my position's like the mayor of a city, elected by the voters, but I'll stop the civics lesson. I think it's fair to say that none of us went to bed Wednesday expecting to wake up Thursday's events. But thanks to the preparation and training of Temple Israel's security team and the West Bloomfield Police Department, the unexpected did not turn into tragedy. Yesterday's incident at Temple Israel is deeply concerning for everyone in West Bloomfield, Michigan, across the country, as well as Jews everywhere. I live in West Bloomfield, and my wife and I are members of Temple.
And you were listening to a press conference in West Bloomfield, Michigan, where officials are addressing the heinous attack at a synagogue yesterday there. You are right now we're seeing a local official, but Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer just addressed the public, as well as Senator Alyssa Slotkin of Michigan, who was very forceful in her words as well. The governor said yesterday's attack was, quote, anti-Semitism. It was hate, plain and simple. Both the governor and the senator talked about how important it is to name this as anti-Semitism and as hate, and to call it out, for everyone to call it out wherever they see. As you mentioned earlier, Errol, we've seen an uptick in anti-Semitic attacks. And this comes, a day after the latest on a synagogue, one of the largest in the country. Luckily, no one was hurt. Our Jonah Kaplan has been covering this attack, and he joins us now from West Bloomfield. Jonah, what stood out to you from that press conference?
I think what really resonated with me was talking about the connection between anti-Semitic language and anti-Semitic violence. And you really can't have one without the other. And for Alyssa Slotkin in particular, who is a member of this community, she's Jewish herself, and then trying to explain to people that it's kind of the horseshoe theory, right? Whether you're right or left, anti-Semitism is anti-Semitism. And, there's this old joke, and that's how Jews try to make their existence went through difficult times. Two constants in life, right? Death and taxes. Well, there's a third, and that's anti-Semitism. And it morphs with the times. So maybe many years ago, Jews didn't believe in Jesus, and therefore they're bad. And then therefore the Jews were the communists, and they were bad. And then Jews were the capitalists. Well, now Jews are the Zionists, and they believe in a Jewish country, and that Jewish country is Israel. And whether people see that as the source of all the problems or the source of the wars that are 5,000 to 6,000 miles away, and then they see a Jewish symbol in a suburb of Detroit, and they see that, and whether or not they're triggered and have familial pain or connections to some of these conflict zones, the concern is that if any kind of this pernicious language is allowed to materialize and then metastasize, there's a very thin line between when that anti-Semitic language can then become anti-Semitic violence.
And the senator pointed out that $1 billion is spent on security at Jewish houses of worship, schools, institutions. So, there really is a heightened level of threat. We're seeing this play out. And, this is all connected to where things are right now in the world. We have new reporting from CBS News. Jonah, thank you so much. We have new reporting from CBS News on the suspect in this case. CBS News has learned from a source that the suspect had family in Lebanon that was killed 10 days ago in one of the attacks, one of the blasts there. But FBI agents, it's unclear whether or not he was on the radar of investigators. That heightened security at the temple, they killed the suspect yesterday at this attack. So there are still many questions on the motive.
Yeah.